I'm Tim Herrera with the Sacramento County Office of Education, here with another Teacher of the Year profile. We're speaking now with Sean Duncan, who is a teacher in the Galt Joint Union High School District.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tim.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you teach and what subject.
Well, I teach at Liberty Ranch High School in the Galt Union High School District. I'm a science teacher. I teach biology, physics, AP physics. Next year we'll be teaching a new course on alternative energy.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the alternative energy. That's obviously a new subject, but growing in interest and importance.
Yeah, it's one of those, we're a brand new school. This will be our third year open in Liberty Ranch High School, and we're trying to look for some programs that kind of set our school apart from the rest. So we have kind of started looking into moving into the green industry, so kind of exploring that. So one of the first steps is this course on alternative energy. It's going to be a hands-on project-based course where students get to work with different alternative energies, doing projects in class and powering different things. And then from there at the end they'll be doing some service projects, working with community needs and designing projects around that and implementing them in the community. So.
Well, that must be really exciting to take on something so innovative and changing even as we speak.
It really is. It's one of my passions is working in the conservation and alternative green fields, and to be able to kind of work on this class and get some students excited about it. I'm really looking forward to the class this year.
So when you're taking on a new subject matter like that, obviously, you've got to kind of bone up on it yourself. Mm-hmm. So I guess you're spending the summer before that class starts really kind of diving into the curriculum.
Yeah. Actually, this summer I spent most of the summer working on writing the curriculum, making sure I was hitting all the major points, and like you said, refreshing my knowledge about the different subject matters. When you're working with all sorts of different alternative energies, I mean, the science behind each one is just a little bit different, so you really need to understand each one pretty well and then be able to deliver that to the students.
So when you're teaching in the sciences, it's a very challenging subject for a lot of students. What kind of things do you try to do to simplify something that's so complex?
Honestly, I don't really try to simplify it very much. I mean, we don't, of course, go into extreme depth in most of the topics, but the primary way I get them to get the materials to get them engaged and get them interested in it. If you get their interest, they're going to be willing to put the work in to learn the material regardless. So I do a lot of hands-on activities, demonstrations, and things in the classroom that get students kind of just wondering what's going on. And once they start wondering, then I know that they're going to be asking questions, and then from there, the teaching, if it's easy.
But what do you do about those students that are a little bit harder to motivate than the others?
Well, I have some policies in my classroom where if students aren't doing what they're supposed to because they're not motivated, then I bring them in and work with them one-on-one to get them motivated. Getting them motivated in the material isn't so hard as getting them motivated to do the work, and that's the real difficulty. And so bringing them in after school or whatever needs to happen so that they get the material they need to understand, and then from there we can move on. So.
Now, how long have you been teaching?
This is my 11th year.
Okay. In that span of time, what are some of the changes that you've seen, that you've encountered in the classroom?
Well, one of the big things, and I mean, when I first started teaching, it was just starting, but the evolution of technology is really the thing that has impacted the classroom the most, I think. Technology is growing, as we know, at an exponential rate, and what 15 years ago would take hours in the library to find out, now students can pull out their cell phones and look up any piece of information that I want them to know. So dealing with that and leveraging that rather than thinking of it as a negative aspect, leveraging that technology as a tool in the classroom and making it useful has been kind of one of the big things that I've been trying to focus on.
And with technology changing so rapidly, do you find yourself scrambling to keep up? Because it does seem to go quickly.
It does, but technology kind of comes naturally to me, so I'm usually right there at the forefront. I'm always buying the newest toy and the newest cell phone or the newest tablet that came out. So it's something for me that comes naturally. I know for many other teachers that's not an issue. So I actually spend a lot of my time doing professional development for other teachers at my school to help them.
So you're the troubleshooter. They come to you with questions.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, with the changing technology and all the advancements, do you find it that the students really are quick at it? I mean,
most of them.
Most
of them. There are some that still really struggle, but yeah, I would say for the most part, I don't know whether it's their minds actually work differently or it's just because they've grown up with it. But yeah, technology comes naturally to them. It's almost second nature. A couple of years ago, I did a social network in my classroom. Used it to discuss evolution of all things, and yeah, I put them on the computer the first day, and without any instructions, they had already built their profiles and were commenting to each other and everything. I mean, it's just second nature to them now. So,
So what are some of the challenges you find yourself facing in the classroom now?
There's a lot of stuff going on, but if I just focused on the classroom itself, I would say one of the biggest difficulties is the stress that kids have in their lives outside of school. Parents are going through foreclosures on their homes and there's all these factors that are going on outside of the classroom. And in the classroom, kids are all expected to behave the exact same way and do the exact same things. And I think as teachers, we really need to think about, is that really the right way to approach it? Each student has a very different life outside of school, and maybe in school, we need to just acknowledge that their lives are very different from each other, and maybe they can't all do this thing at this point because of other things that are going on in their lives.
So you have to be really aware of the external influences.
Yes.
And adjust.
Right.
Yeah. Do you find that, and obviously you're dealing with different types of people all the time, so you may not be doing differentiated instruction, but you're kind of in your mind figuring out which student reacts differently to what stimulus.
Yeah. And I mean, you try to do a differentiated instruction as much as possible. It's very difficult in the constrained time and resources that are available. But yeah, at all times you're always trying to, look at each student and say, all right, do I need to lay off that student a little bit today? They're obviously having a rough time. Maybe I need to talk to them after class and see what's going on. Whatever kind of relationships I can build to help them through any difficult times they might be having outside of class.
So what inspired you to become a teacher in the first place?
Actually, I was just talking to my mother about this last night. Teaching was always kind of just something that I did. Even when I was in 8th grade, my younger sister, she was 4 years younger than me. She was, I guess, around 10. And for whatever reason, I decided that she needed to learn algebra because I was learning it. So I spent that year, as I learned algebra, I would teach it to her. So by the time she got to 8th grade, 9th grade, she was an expert in algebra, and she's been really good in math ever since. But I was always doing those kinds of things, but I never really thought that I would be a teacher. That never crossed my mind all through high school, all through college. It wasn't until I started doing some substitute teaching, and I worked with, as I was doing my substitute teaching, one of the schools asked me to work as an instructional aide with one of the students there who had an oppositionally defiant disorder, which is a disorder that the students always reacts very badly to any sort of authority. And I worked with him for 6 months, and it was probably, it was definitely the most emotionally tough job I've ever had. But when I walked out of there and realized how good I felt, that's when I knew teaching was the right thing for me.
Well, congratulations on being named Teacher of the Year for the Joint Union High School District. We appreciate your time. We've been speaking with Sean Duncan. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Tim.